think this is done on purpose to get rid of the population a little bit?
You mean there's someone behind it?
Yeah, there's someone behind it, like a conspiracy, like that that this is done on purpose.
Can't really.
Humanity.
You can look at it that way, but that only creates a dynamic of a situation of blame, when in fact the dynamic has occurred. This manifestation is occurring because of many years of divisiveness and toxicity that the human race has shown toward each other. And the whole dynamic is a purpose that is to begin to bring people back together. When you realize that you create your realities, especially in the dynamic of a consensus reality like this, you wind up having already created this reality by having this amount of toxicity, this amount of divisiveness, this amount of division that has occurred in the past. So the initial manifestation is something that has taken many years and a lot of energy in order to come together, in order to manifest it. So the best thing that you can do in this sort of circumstance is deal with the physical part of it, because the metaphysical part of it is so huge that it has already caused the dynamic of its manifestation. You know, it's like you could have in the past taken care of this dynamic simply by changing your attitude, becoming more kind and compassionate and connected with each other without having to have a pandemic force it, but it's all part of the divine movement anyway. All right, dear one, we love you. We'll probably speak to you again, next week? Right.
Yep.
Okay. And so, until then, Adrienne, what have you got for us?
I'm here.
Well, you want me to kick your butt?
Sure.
No, we won't. We'll let you go this time. So what have you gotten from today's session? It's been very interesting, don't you think?
Well, certainly a lot of ways to look at the situation, and yet each person has a personal lens and opportunity that is playing into, because we each have our own fears and our own concerns that whether they're about the pandemic or whether we actually find they're closer to things going on in our personal lives, and we're not seeing that it is energetically connected to the coronavirus, but in fact, it is at least in harmony. It's a mirror image of it.
But just as the weather is a clear representation of the emotional state of the places that it's raining on, tornadoing on, hurricaning on, burning up, you know, any of the dynamics of windstorms, blowing things down and knocking out electricity and power outages. All of these things of the chaotic nature, from our perspective, are sourced in the human emotional state. And, you know, look at the parts of the country that these places, these storms, these things affect, and you can begin to see the emotional state of the places that it's going over. So that is a clear representation of that. Now, you continue to allow that dynamic to happen over and over and over and over and over again, and it's not working to get your attention. The next step might be to create a dynamic of toxicity that caused the, what shall we say, the immunoprotective system of the planet to spit out a new coronavirus in order to get your attention and say, hey, time to wake up. Well, but again, you look at the dynamic and we're trying to explain to you the emotional dynamics that exist as an underlying cause. Okay, all of these people feeling all of this divisiveness, all of these things, all of the divisiveness that you've ever felt in your life, all of the people you have ever judged, all of the blame that you have ever given, has gone out there in the universe creating this whole miasm of energy. Eventually, like energy seeks like energy, and it will manifest in a physical form. Once it manifests in the physical form, you can't go back to and take your little pieces of divisiveness back. We're sorry, it's already manifested. What you can do is stop being so divisive yourself and to stop taking your world so damn seriously.
Living as if everything's life and death.
Well, it is. You're either going to live or you're going to allow yourself to die.
Yep.
Again, we'll say what we said at the beginning of the show. None of you are getting out of here alive.
Yes.
Well, and we also said a while ago to Marilyn, what you are afraid of is that when you die, you're going to be judged because none of you have been able to be perfect.
No.
So there's the fear. Isn't that the fear? That you're going to live an eternity in hell.
Hard for me to connect with that because of my beliefs, but I have an unconscious mind in there that I'm sure believes that.
Yeah. She's not that special.
No,
She's one of the most scaredy cat people we know.
Perfect.
That was quick, though.
Yes. Okay.
So now that we've abused you, we've shut you up, eh?
Well, I can sit here and mull over how afraid I actually am.
Well, again, here's the dynamic of the unknown, but it's not so unknown to you. You've been a prepper for years. So what part of you is sitting back going, told you so.
There's a part.
Yeah. All you preppers out there, hey, lighten up. The people that are getting gobsmacked by this are going to need your help.
Right. No, I understand that.
You can gloat for 5 minutes, but after that...
2 minutes is probably enough.
5 is good. You have permission for 5.
Okay.
Well, you can do in pieces if you wish.
Oh, I can spread it out over...
All right. 5 second little...
Well,
Hey, do you want... How much are you going to give me for this can of tuna fish? $50? All right.
No. We don't wish it to spill over into retribution.
No, it's not about it. But again, you look at it first, and it won't.
Right.
Make a joke of it, and it won't.
Yes, I understand.
Bury it, and it will.
It's true of so many things.
Well, this in particular, you're talking about the dynamic of greed, survival. What are people going to move toward? Are they going to move toward greed and survival? Hooray for me and you? Or are they going to move to a place where they realize that working together is the thing that's going to move you all through this?
I think some of both will happen.
Of course.
Initially.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Of course. Not either or.
But I believe that our better angels will show up.
Okay.
That will show up.
Is it a war?
No, let's accept. Okay, so 5 minutes of gloating for having the forethought of prepping, and then let's move on. And so it's both. I can have that piece of myself until I get tired of it, because the helping other people will be more satisfying.
So you hope.
I'm putting that out there to the universe.
Well, why would we deprive you of the adventure of discovery?
Well, I may find new pieces of myself, both light and dark.
Oh, we can guarantee you all are going to find new pieces of yourselves.
I'm sure of that, yes. Both light and dark pieces.
That is a SOTU guarantee.
Well, in the instance of me having been a prepper and a farmer,
and light shadow and dark shadow,
and light shadow and dark shadow, I could have the few minutes of gloating, a little more dark shadow, and then I could turn around.
Well, but your light shadow would say, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't have a few minutes of gloating. No, 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 no. You're too good for that."
And then that buries the dark shadow.
Yeah, denies it.
Denies it. And then it's likely to come up in a more inappropriate time.
Yeah. It's called the blurts.
So I might as well own it for what it is without judging it.
Well, otherwise it has control over you. You don't have control over it. You've just got a dynamic of an emotion that you're repressing. You're not mitigating it in any way. You're just packing it away. Well, it doesn't abate its energy. It just packs it away. And how many times are you going to repeat the dynamic in your mind? And every time you do that, you add the energy to that little piece of self that you have packed, of judgment that you have packed away there. So, and then it builds up and it builds up, and then all of a sudden it squirts out inappropriately at the most inopportune times.
All right, my neighbor needs that box of macaroni. I know I have, because I have extra boxes of macaroni, and I go back and forth in my mind as to whether or not I can afford to give them the macaroni. Is sort of, my heart would say, absolutely, you need this. My mind would say, how many boxes of macaroni do I have? And
the channel's going to be really pissed at me if I just give it away and don't barter for it. Why? Because barter is the dynamic of the economy now. And, there's all sorts of extenuating circumstances.
So I could see people having these kinds of things go on with themselves, rapid fire, and
until you develop a dynamic of a new way of being and doing. Once you develop a dynamic of a barter society, you will all begin to be able to work with that, because you all know that one word.
Fairness.
Fairness, exactly.
And we innately have that knowledge. I don't know what else to call it. Ability.
Morality. You know the difference between right and wrong. You know what's fair and what's not.
Rather than having to parse it out through our brains.
Well, if you're opening your brain that much, then you probably are in greed and
right, exactly.
The whole dynamic of belief of not enough.
Exactly. So it's going to be an interesting landscape set in front of us.
Already is.